Good afternoon and welcome to Finding Awakening. My name is Christiane Michelberger and I help you find awakening in this lifetime. Today, our topic will be the inquiry into the eighth fetter, that is the assumption or the subtle feeling that I am or I exist. If you have already seen through the self-illusion, you've probably come across this. You've seen very clearly that there is no me doing anything, deciding, thinking, acting, and still there is this subtle sense of me, and that feels really strange. I know I struggled with that for a long time, and knowing that there will be still a sense of me left, I finally just shrugged my shoulders and said, okay, so be it, it's still there. And I didn't worry about it any longer. So if you still have the sense of me, don't worry. If you've clearly seen that there is no doer, no decider, no thinker, you're fine. That's normal. This sense of me will remain until everything else but the eighth is gone. And then there is a very subtle sense of I am or I exist. It will stick out like a sore thumb. It's quite amazing how strong it can seem all of a sudden. So, how do you inquire into the subtle sense of I am or I exist? This inquiry has to be done with like a feather-like stroke because, hi Samantha, because this sense is so subtle that you can't really find it by looking for sensations or something like that. It's not that gross. It's more like, for example, for me it was a taste I've consciously known all my life then, and it was my taste of home. That's where I withdrew to when I just wanted to be with myself. And when everything was just getting too much, I would go there. Or when I looked into my feelings, that was where I leaned back into somehow, in a way. And so the subtle sense is really subtle. It's very hard to grasp. First, I thought maybe it's this, knowing that I can learn things quickly and putting that together to an identity. But that is again more, that's too gross, that's just all thoughts. The subtle sense of I am is not even a thought. It's only a sense, a clear feeling, I'm here, but ungraspable in a way. So what do? You don't look into it with this strong light of direct experience, but you feel into it softly and really gently explore it. How do you know that the I am is still there? How do you know what's there? And just feel into it. Well, what feels like I exist? What is it for you? Is it like a cloud, for example, or a scent, or a very familiar feeling you wouldn't even be able to name? It's just there in the background all the time. It's like a continuous hum. What is it? So that's the first step in the inquiry. Find out how the I am is felt for you individually. It's different for every person. Once you found that out, you can go to the next step, explore it. For example, how far does this I am feeling seem to reach? Where does it end? And what is the border made of? What does it feel like? It's all just feeling like something. It's not, having a body sensation. It's feeling like something. What does the border seem to be made of? how come this feeling of I am not does just dissipate and disappear? Something is keeping it together. So what is it? And what is outside of it? What is other? Sense into that and play with it. With a feather light hand. Don't do it heavily with a heavy inquiry. That doesn't work here. Like the self-illusion really needs a lot of really focused looking. Here it's more tender feeling into how do I know that the fetter is still in place? How do I know that the I am is still there? Find that out. So you found that out. You found out why the membrane. Many people experience the border as a membrane. That's why I'm saying it. But you might experience it differently. Find out what it is for you. And what would you say? Is the border closed? Is it a wall? Or can something pass in one way or another? They are the other, back, forth, from the outside in, from the inside out. At this point, you still experience an inside and an outside. What happens? Can anything come in? What is it that can come in? If so, can anything go out? What is it that can go out? Feel into it. What does it feel like it can go in? Like for me, everything could pass from the outside to the inside that confirmed a self-view in some way. I can't recollect how I found that, but it was very clear that everything that kind of props up the subtle sense of self is left in. And everything that doesn't is, there is a God and doesn't let it through. And when you found that, just then look in direct experience for this border. Where is the border? Just look. Is it there where you thought it is? So this is the basic form of the inquiry into the sense of I am. For many people, this sense of I am will also fall spontaneously. Right now, I'm guiding several people for whom it fell, and when they hadn't expected it, it can also be quite disorienting. It was for me. I did this inquiry into the eighth actually one time formally, and in the second time not doing this inquiry, the sense of self fully fell away. So the first time I did it, I looked into all these questions, and at one point I was just cooking lunch. It always happens when I cook. I was just cooking lunch in my consciousness lab, the kitchen, and all of a sudden it was very clear there is no I am. This is just a strange idea, and I really laughed hard. It was so funny. And my partner came and asked what had happened, and I told her, and she said, "So why can't you levitate then?" And I just continued laughing my head off. It was so funny. All right, and I went through the last fetters one time then as well, but it was all my leading edge. And like 2 to 3 months later, I had a really strong reaction to somebody, which started me on looking into my feelings, because then we didn't really know that 4-5 can have more than 2 rounds. And I thought, well, I did that and I had a strong shift, so probably there is no help for me out for something different, and I did. And I looked into my feelings, and that opened the Pandora box of feelings of all unfinished busyness. And in the end, I was just looking into some sadness. I had already felt the self, like the subtle sense of self thinning out, like growing dimmer and dimmer. And one afternoon I had bronchitis and was in bed, and I was feeling into some mild sadness. It was nothing strong at all. When I suddenly felt a shift setting in, I thought, oh no. And I was just about to resist it. I'm good at that. resisting the shifts because I don't like them so much. And then because they are always disorienting for me, or they were. And then I remembered I had done that one time, and it had turned out really badly. I had taken weeks to recover from that. And so I thought, I won't do that again. It was a very quick calculation, like within 2 seconds. And so I just relaxed because it was already in full swing. I felt it. I couldn't do anything anyway. And so I fell asleep. That was very beautiful. I really saw, like in slow motion, the sense disappearing, and nothing bad happened. It just disappeared. And then I fell asleep because I was sick, I thought. And after 2 hours or so, I woke up again. And when I woke up, I was just a stranger in my body. There was a body lying there, had no connection to it whatsoever. I didn't know what to do with it. I didn't even know whether I could move it. So I thought, I still had my eyes closed. I thought, what am I going to do? And then, I worked in anesthesia for some time, and I remembered what we did with the people coming out of anesthesia. So I told myself, move your toes. But the thought came up, of course I didn't tell myself, the thought came up, move your toes, then open your eyes. It all worked. And then I slowly got up. I was very much slowed down. I was definitely still in a different consciousness state, and made myself an orange juice with ginger, and everything worked perfectly fine. And still there was no me whatsoever. This was just a body walking around. It's strange. For me, it took some time to get used to it. It's not like that for everybody, but I'm a slow track changer. I say that all the time. I'm always slow in changing tracks. And so this new experience was a big track to change. And that's how the self-illusion fell away from me. I would like to hear from you if you've already seen how the subtle sense of self fell away from me. Sorry. I would like to know from you, did you already see through the self-illusion and discover that there was this sense of self left? And how did you deal with it? And if the eighth fell away for you already, did it fall spontaneously, or did it happen during an inquiry process? What was your process, and how did you feel afterwards, after the last sense of any self fell away? How was that for you? Write it in the comments. Thank you. Bye-bye.